everybody, Aaron J. Anderson here. Going to do a quick video on my Zoom H1 hack mod. You're going to notice it looks dramatically different than how it came. And you're going to say, why in the heck did he cut it off? Well, I've had this thing for about 8 years, and I never, on any professional shoot or personal shoot, did I ever use the mics that go on top. Now that's just me. That's how I never used it. Never used them. Why I cut it off? Because I wanted this unit to be smaller. A lot of wedding photographers and stuff like that will plug a lav mic in here, wire it up, and throw this in the pocket of the groom. And when you have that big thing on there, it just makes it a bigger unit. Also, storing it in your bag makes it a bigger unit. And just to let you guys know, also, if you have a Zoom, someone asked me a long time ago that when they press record and put it in like a groom's pocket, they're afraid the groom is going to itch his butt or something or sit down and press stop. Well, I don't know how he didn't know this, and maybe you guys don't know it, but right on the side you're going to see it says hold. Where's it at? Oop, I can't do this. It says hold on the other side. Right here it says hold. What you do is after you press record, you just push, I'm looking at it. After you press record, you just slide this to hold, and now nothing will get pressed on it. He didn't know that, so I thought I'd throw that out there. That's how you press hold, and then press it down to then press stop or whatever. Anyways, first what we're going to go into is one thing really bad about these is that they have like the tripod mount, or what? Not a tripod, but I don't know what size this is, but the mount on here is plastic. Everything you screw this thing into is going to probably be metal, and metal versus plastic, metal almost always wins, and you're going to strip this, and also you just keep tightening and tightening, and you never know, like, oh my gosh, am I going to go too far? So first thing I did is I wanted to make that more robust, so I'm going to show you that real quick, then we'll talk about why I cut this off. So let's go to the photos. So first of all, see here you can see it's plastic, and I've had that 8 years, and I always had to gingerly use it, and it did strip over the years, so I had to make this stronger. The other reason why I'm doing this, making this stronger, is I'm going to put it on top of, let's see, a GX85, and when this gets mounted on top, it's a low profile mount that I have here. These are pieces I've had laying around. Once this goes on, it actually goes on. You can see that it's no bigger than the actual camera. So when I had those microphones on there, they came out like this, made it bigger than the camera itself. So since I'm working on the Panasonic GX85 and converting it to a vlog camera, I wanted it to be small. So that's another main reason. Never used the mics. I said I'd get into that later. Well, let's get into that later. I'm jumping. Okay. Oh, the whole point was when I screwed that down on top, being it's a vlog camera, I'm going to pull it in and out of my bag all day. I didn't want this to be plastic and janky and all that. I wanted to make sure it's tight and not moving at all. So when I pull that in and out and I switch it around and film myself, I don't want this janky plastic thing going on. So let's get back to the reason why the build. As you can see, it's plastic. I got one of these things right here. I had it laying around, which I can show you what that was. This is what it is right here. It's I don't know, you guys can see if you go to B&H, you can just put that in there, or you can just go at the manufacturer number, NPTRB. The B&H is the GBRB. It's only $2.50, and it basically is scaling down a bigger mount to a smaller mount, and that's what I use, and you'll see right here. And you'll see in a minute why I'm using that piece right there. I'm trying to go through this pretty quick, because it's not much. So what I did was I just started to, I sized up drill bits on how big this is basically, and I gingerly, you don't want to go and drill through the whole thing because you're going to hit the board and you're going to just completely destroy your unit. So you just have to go real slow down there. And if you have a hand drill, you can even use a hand drill and not a power drill. And you can see I drilled it out here, and you can see the board down there. So if you just push it really hard, you're gonna you're going to destroy your Zoom H1. So maybe a hand drill is better. And it's kind of all hollow down in here once you do that. And I'm just doing a test fit here. Now I want these to go this way, and I'm going to show you why. You see these slots? I want them to go this way, not this way, and I'll show you why in a minute. I use this stuff called steel stick in a lot of my projects. What you do is you just once you take that stuff out, you just pinch off a little piece and you just keep mushing it together till it turns a solid gray. Now you got about what? You'd have to read the directions 6 to 8 minutes before it turns absolutely hard, so you don't got a whole bunch of time with this stuff. So what I did was basically this is kind of the finished, but I just stuck steel stick down in that hole right here. It's not conductive either, so that's kind of cool. So I stuck the steel stick kind of around the edges and down on the bottom and stuff like that, and then slowly kind of screwed that back in there so that those slots are still facing this way. And then I put steel stick on top. That way it's all kind of, it's going to be like one solid steel stick piece right here. And before it dried, I took a small little screwdriver and just, carved this out because I didn't want none of the threads to be, overrun by the steel stick stuff. And I just kind of basically did that. Now before it dried, I just took a knife and, cut the sides off here, and make sure that your battery door goes on and off. I actually did it with the battery door off, and I just kind of cut pieces away and put the battery door back on just to make sure it's going to go back on. This is before it's dried, and I just kind of made it look a little nicer like that. And then you can see here, I just scuffed all this up. You can see before I sanded it, it looked all pretty. After I sanded it, like I said, I didn't really care. Usually I take my time and make things look nice, but I really didn't care. And by the way, I always use Wave. It just got switched over to MP3. You can always put a piece of tape over these if you don't want those to move, of course. And here's what I was talking about, those little slots. I took some small screws, and I took a small drill bit and drilled through those slots, and then took screws, and I super glued the screws before I put them in, and then I screwed those into the plastic. So why I did that is this, now you can torque this thing down pretty good. And because you've got screws super glued into the plastic base of, the whole Zoom, and you've got the steel stick there, this thing is going to be really, really, really rock solid. So that is going to be, let me get that. So that's that. So now this is really solid. It's steel. You can crank it down tight, and those screws are just another extra precaution of tightness. Now, why did I cut that off? It's because I already told you I wanted something small and never used the mics. And basically, it's really easy to do. You can actually, let's see, I went to, what is this? I just went to Google and I put down Zoom H1 teardown, and I came up with this guy's video, and he shows you how to take it apart, but basically it's super, super simple. Let's show you. There's 2 screws right there. See those 2 screws? This is where the mics were at, and then the plastic thing. You just take those 2 screws out, and that's it. And then there's clips going down the inside of this, and you just pull it apart, and it comes apart. Very easy. And this is what you're going to have, right, like this. Of course, you take the battery out. And here's the mics. You can see the mics right here. You can see there's a red and white wire. Here's the white one. Here's the red one. If you don't have a soldering iron, you could cut those off, but I unsoldered them just in case I would ever want to solder them back. And then I unsoldered those, and these things just come right out. They just fall right out. And you could see that this plastic thing here, I actually cut, after these were out of the way, I actually, you could see where the screws go. I just dremeled it straight off like that. Just cut them right off. And then I eventually just slowly started to, I actually took a file and I held it like this, and I just filed it down till it was nice and flat. And then I took the industrial strength Velcro, because it has a really sticky back to it, and I just used the, that hard part of the Velcro, not the fluffy stuff. If you want the fluffy look to it, you can, but I just didn't want that snagging on stuff. And then I just glue, not, when you peel it off and stick it on there, and then I just used scissors and trimmed around it. I actually cut a piece off, made it bigger, and I went like this, make sure it was nice and stuck. And then I took scissors and just cut around there. And then I think I put super glue around there too, just to make sure that it doesn't come up. And now this is really small, really durable. You can fit this in a bag, fit it on top of the Panasonic GX85 or any small camera, and it's good. So anyways, just kind of talk fast through that, and that's about it. If you have any questions, leave some comments and subscribe and give me a thumbs up. See you guys.